If you're eating, enjoy your meal. I wish you a good day, that everything goes well, and enjoy the video. Get comfortable and pay attention to this story.
All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into the absolutely crazy story of a dark web mastermind whose digital empire completely unraveled, and honestly, in the most unexpected way possible. We're talking about the collapse of the Incognito Market, which was this massive, sprawling online narcotics syndicate, and the shocking arrest of its alleged operator, Rui-Siang Lin. We're going to look at how a supposedly brilliant cybercriminal made some of the most baffling, amateur mistakes you could possibly imagine. So if you've ever wondered how authorities actually track down these anonymous ghosts on the internet, well, you're in the right place. We're going to show you exactly how those digital breadcrumbs come together.
$100 million. Let that number sink in for a second. That is the astonishing scale of the dark web drug market that Rui-Siang Lin allegedly ran. But, the story gets even crazier than that. He didn't just run this massive marketplace. In the final days of the site, he actually pulled an exit scam and ruthlessly extorted his own users, literally threatening to release their entire transaction histories if they didn't pay him off. And the ultimate twist? The absolute kicker here? According to the source material, this same guy actively trained law enforcement, actual crypto cops, on how to fight crypto crime. I mean, he was playing both sides of the chessboard at the highest possible level.
But despite that high-level mastermind facade, the reality of his operation was, well, it was very different. It's actually perfectly captured by this raw reaction from a community member who said, and I quote, "Street-level crack dealers have better OPSEC." Now, OPSEC, or operational security, that is the bread and butter of running any illicit enterprise, right? You would naturally assume a guy running a $100 million crypto cartel would be a total ghost. But instead, as we're going to see, his operational security was an absolute joke.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Busted at JFK and the Incognito Market scam.
So after successfully running the Incognito Market and then executing that brazen exit scam to extort his own buyers and vendors, Lin didn't just disappear into the digital ether. Nope. He was actually apprehended in the physical world at John F. Kennedy International Airport. That real-world misstep is just perfectly summed up by Reddit user HippoTwat, who bluntly noted, "I think the major fuck-up was stepping foot in the U.S." Because for all of Lin's digital maneuvering, routing traffic through Tor, handling super complex cryptocurrency transactions, arriving on U.S. soil was the final, fatal, real-world mistake that got him popped. It really highlights a recurring theme in these kinds of takedowns. Cybercriminals often forget that, at the end of the day, they eventually have to exist in the physical world.
Moving on to Section 2, the digital breadcrumbs and shockingly bad OPEC.
So how exactly did the authorities track down a supposed crypto expert hiding behind all these layers of anonymity? Well, this brilliantly illustrates the genius versus fool paradox that basically defines this entire case. On one hand, you've got a criminal mastermind running a massive dark net market, extorting users, and possessing enough technical know-how to literally train law enforcement, right? But on the other hand, you have an amateur using a personal Google account to manage illicit activities, operating without a VPN, and failing to even tumble his crypto. I mean, it is just a staggering contrast between a high-stakes criminal enterprise and mundane, everyday tech blunders.
And this shockingly bad OPEC created a very direct financial trail. As user Silence3x pointed out in the sources, Lin held Bitcoin tied directly to his darknet activities. And, astonishingly, he completely skipped mixing it. Mixing, or tumbling, is just the basic process of laundering crypto to obscure where it came from. But no. He took that dirty, easily traceable Bitcoin and bought a $20,000 personal vanity domain name rs.me. He literally bought a domain using drug money without washing it first. He essentially just handed the authorities his receipt.
But wait, the real-time mistakes are somehow even worse. When the FBI took down one of the Incognito Market's servers, it only took minutes, literally minutes, for Lin to jump onto the public internet, the ClearNet, to frantically search for server bug fixes. And get this. He did this while logged into his personal Google account. Then, just a few days later, he posted the exact related upgrades to the Incognito Market on the darknet, multiple times. The FBI didn't need to crack some sort of unbreakable encryption code here. They just had to look at who was Googling the exact server errors they were intentionally causing, and then just match up the timestamps.
Which brings us to Section 3, Smart Yet So Stupid, and the Hubris Precedent.
The really crucial point here is that this level of arrogance is actually a recurring theme. The darknet community has seen this exact type of hubris before. In fact, as soon as Lin's arrest was announced, community members immediately compared his takedown to other high-profile, careless InfoSec failures, things like Silk Road, Alphabet, and LulzSec. The creators of Silk Road and Alphabet, they were both unmasked because of early, simple mistakes, like using personal email addresses on public forum posts years before they ever became massive kingpins. Lin's downfall follows this exact same historical precedent.
To really hammer home the permanence of these kinds of digital mistakes, let's consider the case of Sabu from the infamous hacker group LulzSec, which was specifically referenced in the source discussions. Do you know how Sabu was uncovered? He logged into an IRC chat room a single time years before his arrest without his VPN turned on. Just once. That one split-second lapse in operational security was permanently logged, and it eventually brought down one of the most notorious hackers on the entire web. In the cyber underworld, a single slip-up really is all it takes to ruin you completely.
And this brings us to a fantastic question posed directly by Reddit user Stopping Over. They asked, how exactly can someone simultaneously be so smart and so stupid at the same time? I mean, it perfectly cements the central paradox of Rui-Siang Lin. He clearly had the intellect to code a complex marketplace, manage all the logistics, and outsmart rivals. Yet, he completely lacked the basic common sense to log out of his personal Google account before troubleshooting his illegal drug cartel. It just proves that technical intelligence and operational wisdom are two completely different things.
So, what does this all mean? Why does this actually matter to you? Well, it's simple. The internet never forgets your digital footprint. Whether you are allegedly running a $100 million darknet cartel or you're just browsing the web at home, your search history, your server pings, your IP logs, they are permanent. Data doesn't just disappear into thin air. The digital breadcrumbs you leave behind today can always be pieced together tomorrow.
Which leads us to our final provocative thought to close out this explainer. If a $100 million darknet mastermind, a guy who literally taught cybercops how to do their jobs, couldn't hide his tracks from the authorities, well, how secure is your digital footprint? It is definitely something we should all be thinking about every single time we log on. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and stay curious.